What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. Back with another review. If you are new to the channel, welcome. We do product reviews from big box retail stores. Today we're looking at a case for a popular tech device. That's right, today we're looking at the Smart Folio case for the iPad Pro. The iPad Pro is probably one of the most popular tablets on the market. You can get it at the Apple Store, but because it is a mobile device, because it's something you will carry around the house as you are working or maybe take with you on the go, one thing that is nice to have with it is a case. And one of the cases Apple makes for it is the Smart Folio. Now, I purchased this one in particular at Target, at my local Target. You can get Apple products and devices and stuff like that at Target. Target is usually a pretty good place. And lo and behold, this is the case that I wanted, and they had it. So I walked over and picked it up. My nearest Apple store is quite a ride away. And so figured, you know what, if Target has it, I don't need to go all the way to the Apple Store and get it. This case was $100, as Apple accessories typically are, but having used the Smart Folio in the past, I like the way it works. For me, the iPad is kind of this futuristic, open source, clean slate product, right? I think clean slate is a good way to describe it because really it's just a large glass display with the keyboard on it, not like a laptop where it folds shut and it has a keyboard and a trackpad built in. The iPad is just all glass. It's a large multi-touch surface, but it's large enough that yes, you can actually still have some screen real estate left over and the keyboard on the screen at the same time, which I think is super futuristic. So for me, the iPad is used not really as sort of like a laptop replacement, but as this sort of futuristic device. And I think in order to enable that, you need to get the 13-inch one first and foremost, but also I think the Smart Folio enables that as well, because it allows you to prop it up and lay it on the surface in two different ways, which are actually the two ways that I think users find themselves using the iPad the most. So the first way is you can prop it up to watch videos, and then the way that I think makes the iPad futuristic, like I was talking about earlier, using the on-screen keyboard, not necessarily having to rely on, having a built-in keyboard or trackpad. You can actually fold the top part of the Folio into like a triangle, and it lays on the table, and it allows you to type directly onto the display. And like I said, I think the 13-inch is probably the best for this because you have the most real estate. But the 11-inch will work as well. And then, of course, you get that lay on the table design, protects the top and the bottom from scratches, but it also leaves the ports on the bottom exposed, the USB-C port in particular, but also the speaker grill. And also it has raise to wake, so you can actually sort of lift up on the flap. You can lift the Folio, the top part up, and get a glimpse at the display and see the time. That is not a new feature, and the Smart Folio is not a new accessory, but as the iPad, has sort of grown and developed over the years, this case has remained as one of the original go-to accessories for the iPad. And I think there is a reason for that. And like I was saying, it's because the iPad is sort of this slate device not necessarily meant to replace your laptop, but has the capability to, and I think the best way to sort of enable that is with this case. Okay, let's go ahead and get it out of the box and get it on the iPad, and I will show you what it looks like. Have the Apple logo on the back and the camera cutout, as you can see. And then the front of the Folio with this sort of lined rib design is unchanged since the original iPad. Actually, I think the Folio came out with the second generation iPad. The first generation came out and then the second one came out, and it was kind of like this flat design. And that is when I think the Folio came out. But on the inside, it's actually a really nice like microfiber lining. Like, have you ever used a microfiber cloth that's got that microfiber sort of lining? But how it works, it has magnets sort of built in. The iPad actually has the magnets built in, and you can see it actually kind of just snaps right down into place. And then the Folio itself actually folds over and adjusts. Like I was saying, you can actually sort of manipulate this. And that is the reason for the rib design here, because it actually folds. And also, as you saw, it does have raise to wake. So the iPad screen is off, and then you flip open the flap and you can get a peek at the time there. For example, it's 11:39. Also, what's really nice about this microfiber lining, it will actually keep the display clean. This is the Space Black iPad Pro with M4, by the way. So it's the ultra slim design. I was actually kind of skeptical about putting this on the iPad Pro M4 because yes, it is ultra slim and therefore ultra lightweight. This is actually the thinnest Apple device Apple has ever made at 4.1 millimeters. So actually using the iPad in hand, it's lightweight and easy to hold, and was skeptical about this Folio case because it will add bulk and heft, and already it is significantly heavier. So I will lose like that one-handed usability, like sitting on the couch, having it sort of like in my hand, just with one hand sort of holding it up. I will lose that because it is already significantly heavier. But I do get peace of mind when I take this out of the house. This is the cellular version for me. And also, like I was saying, I get that ability to prop it up, and now I can actually use this to type on. So what we can do is maybe go to an email here, and then I can create a new message. And actually, I've got my keyboard set up right now, one-handed use, because like I was saying, it is really nice to sit on the couch with this iPad model in particular because it's so thin and lightweight. Okay, so one actually really cool feature I just learned is you can actually pinch to shrink the size of the keyboard to a floating one, which is really nice for one-handed use. So like I was saying, with the M4 iPad Pro with its ultra slim, lightweight portable design, it's actually really nice to use it one-handed. And when you have it sort of just the iPad itself, using it one-handed, like on the couch, for example, having this floated keyboard is really nice. But with this Folio case, now that we can actually like prop it up on the table and use it sitting down at the desk, you can actually pinch out on the floating keyboard to get back to the full size on-screen keyboard. So for me, the iPad is a sort of polarizing device. It's powerful enough that you can actually sort of like plug it in and use it as a computer with an external monitor, and also connect it to Bluetooth peripherals like a mouse and a keyboard, for example. Or it's that sort of like really futuristic device without the peripherals, without the added heft of it being a clamshell with a built-in keyboard and trackpad. And that is where the Folio comes in place, because I think for a lot of us, it's kind of hard imagining replacing our laptop with the keyboard case. So with the iPad Pro M4 and also with the other iPad models, you can actually buy the Magic Keyboard, and that actually has a built-in trackpad and keypad. It magnetically attaches just like as you saw with the Folio. But many of us have a hard time imagining replacing like a MacBook or a MacBook Pro with something like the iPad or the iPad Pro. And so for me, also understanding that the iPad Pro and the iPad in general is kind of like this polarizing device. It's a futuristic one as well. I think the Folio enables exactly how you want to be using the iPad in general. So as you can see here, it folds up really nice and allows us to utilize the full keyboard. We can sort of tab down here and just realign the cursor with the touch of our finger. It's super intuitive and fast and easy to do. And so for me, the Folio case is actually ideal, right? I think it enables exactly how we envision using the iPad as a device. The Folio case is probably honestly as far as you want to go, right? Yeah, it does take away from that sort of portability, that ease of use of being able to sort of just sit on the couch and use it one-handed, which is really nice. But you get, that protective cover on the front and the back. And also you get the ability to fold it and lay it on the table and use it in full screen mode to use the full screen keyboard. It actually works really well that way. And also to prop it up to consume content on it. So guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. It allows you to prop it up and lay it on the surface in two different ways, which are actually the two ways that I think users find themselves using the iPad the most. So the first way is you can prop it up to watch videos, and then the way that I think makes the iPad futuristic, like I was talking about earlier, using the on-screen keyboard, not necessarily having to rely on, having a built-in keyboard or trackpad. You can actually fold the top part of the Folio into like a triangle, and it lays on the table, and it allows you to type directly onto the display. Going out and spending that $349 for the Magic Keyboard for iPad Pro, is it worth it? Hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below for more. I will see you guys in the next review. This is Killer Reviews. We do product reviews from big box retail stores. I picked up the Smart Folio for the iPad Pro M4 at Target. It was $100. Target is a great place to go for Apple products. Target is like that store that has a bunch of different stores in it at the same time. And I feel like one of the stores that it has in it is the Apple store, because they have a really good selection of Apple products. I can always count on them to have the Apple device or product that I am looking for. Hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below for more. Hit the bell icon to get notified when we post to YouTube. Share this video with friends and family. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the Smart Folio. This case has been around since like the second generation iPad. It's been around for a while. My name is John. Once again, thanks again so much for tuning in. And I will see you guys in the next review.